Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Amy Howard, and welcome to Maker Monday. I'm going to show you something that's really fun today, and as part of what I call building your repertoire of finishes, we believe here at a Maker Studio about crafting a beautiful life. So things that you learn, skills that you put in your creative toolbox allow you to be able to build on things, to be able to then use that on a lot of different things later. If you haven't gilded yet, it's one of the most fun things that you're going to add to your making repertoire. And I'm going to show you today how to be able to take an old frame. This is missing the glass, but an old frame that you have. I want you to go shopping in your attic. I want you to be able to go to Goodwill. I want you to be able to, or Restore, or a garage sale, or even a neighborhood site online, and get some old, ugly, maybe pictures that somebody else wouldn't want to use, or maybe you would have thrown away, but we're going to use the frame and the glass to be able to create our project today. So let's take a look at what I'm going to be showing you. So this was just an old picture frame that we took out the picture itself. All we're going to need is the frame itself and the glass, nothing else. We don't need the mat and we don't need the picture. So the fun thing about this is, if I had a larger edge on here, I would come back and add some handles, and this could be a fun and easy tray. But let me show you how to gild on glass. You can do it with stencils. Today we're going to be actually doing the whole back and putting this design, which is kind of a Napoleonic acanthus leaf wreath with the bumblebee on the front of it. So we put bundles together for you to make it just a little bit easier to do some creative projects. And in your bundle, it's going to include our silver leaf, our mesh stencil with the beautiful detail. You'll notice I love how a lot of people, especially on our before and after groups, have shown the beautiful detail that you can get with our stencils, and this is one of my favorites. You'll get a complete or full-size container of our Maker Studio gilding size. You'll get a spreader. You'll get our gold chalk art that looks like you've gilded, I promise, and our brown ink, our brown chalk art, to be able to use with the gold, and a foam dome brush. All right, so the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go shopping in your attic, Restore, or garage sale, and you're going to need an old picture frame with the glass inside. Again, we don't care about the mat, we're not going to use it, and we don't care about the picture inside. We just want the frame and the glass. So what you're going to do is you're going to also need to be able to have some type of applicator. That is not included in your kit. You can use an old sponge brush. You can use a foam roller, which we do have these in a Maker Studio. And I want you to be able to just pour your size into a container like this, and then load up your foam brush. Now let me say this. There's a reason when you are working on glass, it's best not to use a brush, because these chip brushes are going to have a tendency with the size, which is an adhesive glue that's been formulated for gilding, it's going to leave a mark in it. So I don't want you gilding on glass and putting the size on with a chip brush. I would prefer for you to either use a foam brush or a foam roller. A foam roller is my preference, and these are really great tools. We have them here at a Maker Studio that you can use them for paint. I use them for painting floors, ceramic tiles, the whole 9 yards. So you'll pour in your size, you'll load it up, you'll want to offload it, load it up again, and then brush on the size onto, roll it onto your glass. So the reason I'm not actually doing this is because I did it just a few minutes before we went live, because I needed it to come to tack. Now, so can you see where you, like a little bit of the bubbles from the application of it? So because glass has both sides, it doesn't matter what side you do it on, but that's going to become your back of your glass, of the art piece that you're going to be doing. So this would be a fantastic tray. And if you wanted to, you could be doing this in copper. You could do it in gold. We just chose silver, and that's what we put together in this bundle today. But it's up to you, especially with fall coming. It makes it a lot of fun. You can do it whatever particular leaf you want to. All right, so here's the other thing. Let's look at that real closely. You're going to see at first when you put the size on, it's going to be cloudy. It'll be cloudier. It'll allow you to be able to show up. You want to make sure that you don't have any negative space on here. Negative space is basically an area, or we call it in gilding world, a holiday. A holiday is where you didn't get the size, and guess what? If you miss an area, the leaf will not adhere. Now, if you come in and you see you've got a holiday, can you fix it? Absolutely. You just come back and you roll on a little bit more size, and then you're going to be able to go on top of it. All right, so the only thing we've done up to this point, I'm going to push this aside. The only thing we've done up to this point is we have rolled on our size a nice even coat all the way around, and we want it to come to what we call tack, T-A-C-K. Now, I'm going to touch this with my ring finger. Why your ring finger? And I usually prefer it with my left hand because I'm right-handed. This is going to be the weakest muscle in my entire hand. So it's that ring finger is the weakest finger, believe it or not. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. So when you touch it, you'll be able to feel it pull. So if you are right-handed, use your left hand to do this. And it will pull the skin so you can tell that it's to tack. If it hasn't dried, let's say 5 minutes or less, you're probably not going to be at tack. You want to be able to wait about 10 minutes. That's going to allow you to be to tack. Now, then you've got an open hour to be able to work on this. I usually tell people only work on a section small enough that you can do the whole thing probably within 5 to 10 minutes at the most. Don't do a whole big section thinking you're going to get it done. Work in sections on it. But you do have what we call open time for about an hour. So I've come to tack. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to gild. So I'm going to take my silver leaf. This comes in your bundle. It's a book. It has 25 pages in it. And I'm going to open this up. Now, you'll notice it's like a book. It has a spine, and you want to be able to keep that together. And it has pages. And in between two sheets of tissue pages, you have a loose leaf. See? It's not bound to the binding. It's loose. Now, because of the size of this glass, I am going to gild with the entire sheet. The other thing I want you to get used to is don't touch this. Because if I ever upgrade you into working with sterling silver or copper leaf, you don't want to touch the leaf. So look how I'm going to fold that just a little bit so I can hold on to it. Look how I'm holding the entire book. That way I can turn around and hold it. The other thing is, shut off any ceiling fans, the air conditioner, all that type of thing when you're doing this. Just burn up for a few minutes because it's going to blow this and you're going to have less control over it. So holding it, because I'm right-handed, hold it with your right hand to where you've got complete control over the entire book. Always act like you're gilding a little bit larger surface area. So I'm going to make sure my leaf comes about over here. People make the mistake of laying it in, and then that way I'm wanting to cover the entire surface. So look how I'm going to do it just a little bit larger like that. Holding it with my left hand, before I lay it down, what am I going to do? I want to pull this tissue up because I don't want it to stick to the surface that I've gilded. So pull that out and then burnish it. You want to just from left to right. We talk about this being a book. It has a spine and it has pages. So from left to right, I want you to just burnish this. Lift this up. Your leaf is laid down. Now, watch this. I'm going to turn the page to the book, holding it together, fold it back just a little bit like this. Now, when you start to lay this down, I want you to overlap it. Don't butt it up because it actually may give you a holiday there and we don't want that. So lay this down like this. Pull your tissue out because it's going to stick to it. What do? We burnish from left to right, just like we're reading a book. Put quite a bit of pressure there. Now, look at the other thing that you'll notice. I'm not pressing in on this spine because there's no leaf there, and I don't want the spine to stick to the size that I have on the glass. Is everybody with me? So look, I got just a little bit of mess up. Sometimes it's good that I get a mess up on here so I can tell y'all, you're like, oh no, what do I do now? It's okay. I'm just going to lay directly on top of here. I'm not going to butt up to this area. I'm going to lay it directly on top. So I'm going to pull that back. Lay that down like that. Pull it out and burnish it. All right, so I'm going to show you one more. So I'm going to come down here. Now, when I start to do a second row, I want to come up here. I want it to be overlapped. So I'm going to pull it back again. If y'all are watching me, if you're catching me live, please send me some love. Tell me where you're from. And I love using this form of a Maker Studio on our Facebook Lives to be able to have you share too projects that you've done, how you've learned from what I've been teaching you, and you've turned around and used it in your own home. I love that. That really encourages me. All right, so I'm gonna do one more because I'm wanting you to see how when you're working on a large flat surface area like this, or especially if you're doing glass and you're working with large sheets in this book that you're not cutting down, it really is pretty easy. All right, so I'm gonna overlap it again. I'm gonna overlap it here and I'm gonna overlap it at the top. Pull that tissue out. And here's what's fun. As you start doing this, as you start learning and seeing just how easy it is to gild, I promise it's somewhat of an addiction. And the fact that you start looking at everything, could I gild that? Like, here's an example. This is called a torchère, and this is something totally different. But as far as learning the skill level, learning how to be able to do things like this is just details, striping things. Of course, this piece is from the 1800s, but it shows you how you can add gilded details to an accent piece that you may have in your home, but also you're learning how to be able to gild whole surface areas on the glass like that. Love that. All right, so the other thing I want you to do, you can use a chip brush for this if you want to. You can use a rag, but I want you to be able to see how the leaf and the direction that it's laying up, I want you to just start going over it like this until it starts to curl up. See how the edges will start to curl everywhere? They'll curl up and they'll start to fall off. That way you know you've got a really nice gilded area, and I don't want you to go in scrubbing it. I want you to go in the direction where this leaf will start to fall off. All right, so now I've got one here that's already been done, so I can kind of take you to the next step. See how pretty that is? So pretty. All right, I'm going to put this down here. And here I have one that's already been completely gilded. Now, this now becomes my back. It's been solid. It's my back, and I'm going to be working on the front of this. So I'm going to be creating a really pretty little gilded tray, and I'm going to take my Napoleonic acanthus leaf wreath. Now, if you haven't worked with these stencils before, they're reusable, and I really recommend you keeping these little sleeves that they come in because you can store them in them. The other thing is they're adhesive. They have a back on them. Can you see the detail on this? And I love seeing people using this on the project. See this? You cannot get this look with a Cricut, guys. The other thing is, on Cricuts, they're not reusable. I can wash this with water, let it air dry, and then I can put it back in the sleeve and use it again and again and again. We have products that are like chalk art. We have inks. We have etching cream. We have used this particular stencil. I've created thank you cards with it, with our chalk art. I've created all kinds of things with this. This is actually one of the most classic, most beautiful designs that we have. All right, so the other thing is, it's adhesive, but it's repositionable. So I'm going to lay this on here like this. And I'm going to probably need another stencil because of time frame to show you something. All right. Just want to make sure that I get this on here straight. All right, so I'm going to spread that out like this. Now, let's take a look again at the piece that I'm showing you. This would be this can be a piece of art, but I would love it as a tray. I think it would be really, really pretty, and do it on a larger piece and then add some handles to it. But see how we've got brown and gold on here? That's going to allow the gold to kind of pop, And you're going to need to do that first. So in your kit, we've given you two things. We have given you the brown chalk art and then the gold chalk art. So what we want to do first is we're going to add the brown chalk art. So I'm going to cut this spreader tool that I have. I'm going to cut it down just a little bit. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take some of this chocolate chalk art and put it on my spreader. Here come the glasses for me to be able to see the detail on here. And we're going to lay this brown in. Look at this. I want you to work fairly quickly when you're doing this. A lot of people, they enjoy this process so much that they go too slow. But I want you to work fairly quickly. And I want you to do it with some pressure. Don't lay it just on top. You want to press through it. That's going to allow that to go through that mesh, and it's going to allow you to also get all this gorgeous, gorgeous detail. Because what's going to happen, we're using this behind the gold. This acts as a shadow. This is going to make the gold pop that much more. You can do this same process on stationery. You can do it on tea towels. You can do it on anything that you want to be able to get a shadow to it. So I'm going to come back. I'm actually not going to do my bee. I want to show you this. You could if you wanted to, but I'm going to come back and I'm actually going to do it like in a monogram. So I'm going to take this off. Now I can take this over and then just start cleaning it. That way, because I want to make sure that I use it again, but for today, I'm just going to set that aside. Now, I want to show you. See how you can't really see this as much? But this is our shadow. This is what's going to be the backdrop for our leaf. If I can have a hairdryer real quick, I'm just going to pop this with a hairdryer. Are there any questions so far? Are we good? Yes.
What's the name of the brown color?
Trying to remember what I named the brown color. If you go to the website, oh my gosh, I'm having a senior moment.
Well, because I can think about it in gel art, not in the chalk art.
Okay. We're going to find out. Hold on just a second. As far as water.
Plug in.
The plug-in. I've got one right here. Hold on, guys. So I'm just going to hit this with a hairdryer really, really quickly because I want to show you how to put the gold on top of it. So as a rule, if I just wanted to air dry this, we're only talking 10 minutes. But because I'm trying to show you how to do this on Maker Monday, I want to make sure that it's good and dry. It's going to dry down to a matte finish. Now, if you haven't worked with the chalk art before, it's so fun, it's so easy. It's basically like in a chalk paste consistency. Okay, good news. This brown chalk art is called Slow as Molasses. Yay! Takes a village. Okay, Slow as Molasses. All right, so now, if you were working on this, you would want to go in and clean your stencil, and then you're going to set it right and dry it, and then set it right back on top of it. But just strictly for time's sake today, I'm going to go in and take another one. And this is also called, like in the printing world, kind of off register. It gives it a shadow, it gives it beautiful detail, and it really makes it more three-dimensional than one-dimensional. So here's the thing. We're going to try to lay this down. Yes?
Charlotte asks, which side is the gilded side?
Well, when you've got glass, whatever side you decide to gild on it, both are the same. So whatever side you decide to gild on becomes the back of your glass. So this is the side that we gilded. I'll show you the back of it. That's the part we gilded. And then so that's the front. So it's protected. Your leaf is going to be protected. All right. This would be a great design to be able to do even on a glass top table. All right, so now we're going to have to be really careful here how we do this. And I'm going to need to lay this down to where I can see where my brown is. And it'll fill that space in. So that way I can come back with my gold. All right, looks good. So basically it's allowing me to see my brown on here again. So you can wash this, you dry it, and then you can reapply it. Everybody with me? All right, so now we're going to take our gold chalk art. Doesn't take much. And we're going to do the same thing again. We're doing the same thing, but guess what? It's going to be just on top of the brown. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I could have done this a little bit off register. You don't have to do it exactly on top of it. I'm just going to, look at that. Is that fabulous? If you've never worked with our gold chalk art, look at that. It is such a fabulous gold color. And it looks amazing. I go to the paper source and get their cards. I'll get them in dark gray. I'll do them in black, right, with a gold pen or a silver pen. And I use our silver, copper, and gold metallic chalk art on it, and it looks like $1,000,000. You can use our monogram stencils, be able to personalize them. We've got the holidays coming up. You could do your own Christmas cards. We're doing everything from luggage tags to gift tags. So easy. But this gold has got to be in your DIY pantry. Look at that. So fun, so easy. Isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous. All right. So I'm going to put my gold back in here. It doesn't take much. And just take the edge of your spreader if you want to and just kind of lift it. And so what it does, it's going to take a little while for it to dry. A lot of times when we do the Maker Mondays, you can't see the detail as much, but it's there. It's got to have a few minutes to be able to dry. And the brown will become the detail behind that gold. Take a look at it over here. As far as being able to see the detail on it. So it acts as a shadow. If you want to, you can even come back again. You can let this dry. And then you can come back here and there with the brown, and it looks beautiful. The other thing I want to suggest you doing, I'm not going to do it today, but here's another stencil that we have. This is our Alphabet 3, and in it you have all kinds of letters and numbers that you can use on a lot of different projects. So that way you can just cut whatever letter is you want to be able to put in here. I prefer the last name. We have another one that's a monogram stencil that way you could do all 3 initials inside this wreath. It makes it look really beautiful. The other thing that I would suggest doing is coming back and painting your frame to be able to complement what it is that you have inside here, and then go in and add your handles, and you've got a beautiful tray to be able to put on your cocktail table. I would even go bigger on this. I think it has even more impact. I love creating trays that will double stack on cocktail tables. That way you can serve on them, protect the wood, put little glasses on it, whatever decorative element you want to be able to use for it. So hopefully today was informative. It showed you just how easy it is to be able to gild on reverse. We call it kind of an églumizé. It's a French word for painting on reverse on glass, because you're learning how to gild just on the back of this piece of glass that we rescued out of an old picture frame. So it's your time to be able to go enjoy the bragging rights and start experimenting and seeing just how easy the products are here at a Maker Studio. Have a fantastic week, everybody.